what I have been trying to show you is skills that are required for a designer. So these are common skills applicable to all types of designers. You have started with pencil as a medium to express yourself. So today I'm going to talk about use of ink, and like this we will keep discussing different mediums which designers use to express design ideas. Now, the whole idea is how to develop these skills. Development is possible only if you practice. Remember that. So apart from the assignments which I have been giving you, you need to do more. Merely doing the assignment is not going to help you to develop your skills. Much more than what assignments you are getting, you have to keep practicing and take the good ones out of them and put them as part of your portfolio. So the whole idea of this weekly class sessions is for you to understand how to develop your skills and use those skills to develop your portfolios. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about pen and ink techniques. Already some of you have been using pen and ink in making drawings, but today we will try to learn systematically how to get used to using pen and ink and develop your skills. So you see these two images here. The first one, you see an ink bottle and a feather. Now this is how in ancient times people learned to write and draw. There was no concept of pen. The whole idea of making a pen developed because in ancient times human beings used to use feather. Usually feathers were collected. I mean, they were not plucked from the birds' wings, you know. So they used to collect feathers. They will be after birds. Whenever birds drop some feathers were collected, and ink had to be made from using flowers, different types of colored flowers, or some minerals were crushed, and ink was made. And this is how they used to express. Basically, this art was developed by Chinese first. So they developed ink for the first time. The idea of more permanency in writing and drawing. That's why you see, if you look at Chinese letters, they are more like artwork and using feathers. So feathers were first used. And usually one of the best type of feathers were seen to be of that of crows. Crow feather is extremely good because they're very sturdy, and you can create actually a nib-like tip by carving it. You can carve a crow's feather and it will look and feel exactly like a nib, you know, the kind of nibs that we use these days. So the first type of lettering or writing or drawing equipment was called crow quill, CROWQUILL. Quill means instrument to write. So crow quill was used, crow quill and ink pots were used. And later, the whole idea of crow quill tip was converted into metal tips like this. So then the word pen evolved. They used to take a piece of wood and make a metal nib and tie it onto the wood with threads and all that, and make it sturdy. And so it became a more permanent kind of quill to write, because the crow quill does not last for long. You have to keep on collecting crow quills, so which was actually quite a cumbersome process. So they started using metallic nibs and they were also called crow quills actually. So later, over a period of time, this kind of pens developed. In fact, when I started learning drawing, these were very common and we had to actually buy them and use them. They are called crow quills, though they are nibs. And you could actually remove the nib and fix different types of nibs into this wooden, wooden frame or whatever you call it, the body, wooden body. You can remove this nib and put another nib. So, and you dip into the ink and write. So this is a drawing made using this kind of nibs. See, the beauty of this kind of nibs is that when you increase the pressure, the thickness of the line changes. So you get wonderful effect by using this kind of crow quill nibs in sketching. They are still available if you go to market, if you especially, not everywhere, but in art shops you will get. In Thrissur you will get in a place called Art Center. If you from next to the Ragam Theatre, there is a road which goes straight and meets Post Office Road. So when you go on that road, on the right side is you have that restaurant, that South Indian food restaurant. And when you further go down, that road goes and meets Post Office Road. So on that junction on your right, there is a building. And on the first floor, there is a shop called Art Center. That is the best place in Thrissur to purchase all kinds of art equipments, pens, colors, pencils, and whatnot. If you go there and tell them you are from this class, he knows very well, because all our students have been purchasing things from there. Maybe you also been going there. So there you might get this Crookwill. He might definitely have this if you are interested in developing skills using Crookwill pens. In fact, pen and ink skills depend entirely upon what kind of tool you are using. So this will give you a different effect. If you use fountain pen, it will give you a different effect. So I'm going to discuss about different kind of effects that you can get using different types of pens. So in the market, if you search, there are so many varieties of pens which are available today. In my student days, only that first type of pen was available, and slowly many different types of pens started appearing in the market. Then brush is used. Some people use brush and ink also for drawing. But these are the kind of different types of nibs, fountain pen, and even gel pens. So many varieties are available to do drawings. And of course, sketching, as freehand sketching as well as drawings. So what you do with this, how do you develop? The process of drawing with pen and ink is called texturing. Because, when you use pencil, by increasing the pressure of the pencil, you can get different effects. You have already tried all this. Some of you have developed very good techniques of sketching. And those who are not yet developing, they will develop only if you practice. So practice is very important. Pencil sketch, you must continue to do. And you will realize the importance of practice when you start using ink. I'm going to give you some exercises using ink, and then you will really understand the importance of practice, because ink techniques are little difficult because you have to be very careful when you use pen and ink. The reason is that you cannot erase. In pencil drawing, it is very easy. If you make a mistake and you feel that you have to improve, you can take an eraser and erase certain portions and do it again. But that is not possible in ink drawing. Once you touch the paper with your pen, then that is it. That is permanent. So usually you can construct something lightly using pencil, as you can see in this sketch here of this building. You can see pencil lines. Basic lines are drawn, how the building needs to be drawn. Basic construction is there. And then ink is used, pen is used to finalize the drawing. You can see those pencil lines behind. And when you complete the work, you can easily erase all those pencil lines so that it looks purely pen and ink drawing. So this method of using pen is called texturing. Why it is called texturing? You can see here, different types of textures are created using different types of strokes. One example is, look at this ball. If you can see my cursor, there are a lot of dots here. By just putting dots, you can create shades, shadows, etc. It is a cumbersome process, takes a lot of time, but it is fun doing this, using dots as a method. Or you can use straight lines, you can use curved lines. Here are straight lines in different directions. Zigzag lines you can use. You can use doodling like this, curvilinear doodling, parallel lines, vertical lines, horizontal lines, and so on. So when you put lines close together, you get textures. So that's why it's called texturing. In pencil, you can just move the pencil on the surface and you evenly distribute the lead onto the paper. But in pen, you cannot do that. With brush, you can do, but with pen, you have to keep drawing different types of lines. So how to develop this texturing is what we will discuss today. Look at this example. Texturing with pen is called hatching. Hatching means H-A-T-H, hatch. They are called hatch textures for design. So you can see here 8 different types of hatch textures. Now this is something you should practice. And you can develop your own textures also. These are some 8 examples, but it is possible for you to develop your own textures different ways. So you can see how these are. It's very easy to understand how it is done. Vertical, horizontal lines in the first one. In the second one, it is random doodling. You just don't lift the pen. Keep on doing doodling and you'll get a very interesting texture. Third one, all vertical lines. Fourth one, lot of small zeros are drawn. If you notice very carefully, shapes are drawn, and crisscross lines, and then again zigzag lines, random lines, and continuous curves are drawn. You know, some kind of barbed wire type of drawing is done here in this last one. So texture making depends entirely on what you keep doing repetitively. Remember this. If you keep repeating something using pen, you get texture. So this is something to be learned by practicing. So please practice this. I will be sharing this image so that it will give you some idea on how to develop textures. This is one possibility. Another possibility is this. See, these are all varieties of textures. These are created by students or students. So you should try to create textures like this. Now this student has created 15 different types of textures. Of course, something is repeated from the previous one, but you must practice this. So take a piece of paper, take a sketchbook. In that you can draw squares using pencils, and within the square, you draw textures like this, develop textures like this. And you may use any of these textures for your sketches later on. But initially, to get used to using of pen, you must practice this, drawing textures using pen and ink. Okay. So this is actually giving names to different type of textures. Some type of textures are given a name. So for example, the first one in which you just keep drawing parallel lines in different directions is called hatching. And if you cross those lines against one another, it is called cross hatching. So cross hatching is very regular. Vertical lines, horizontal lines, angular lines, it's all crisscrossing each other. It's called cross hatching. The next is called patch hatching, where you don't do it uniformly. Somewhere it is crossing, somewhere it is not crossing. So you have a very dense area in the image. One corner is very dense. So this is called patch hatching. Then you have contour hatching, in which continuously curved lines are moving. You know, you can create a pattern like that. So this is called contour hatching. And then ruler hatching. It looks like ruler drawn, straight lines like rulers. So it's called ruler hatching. Then this is another variety which doesn't have a name. You can call it doodling or whatever. Stripling, putting small dots on paper is called stripling. Then these are all other textures, fish, like fish scales you draw, or some other stone shapes you draw. So these are all called other textures. There is no specific name to it. You can give your own name if you want, but generally cross hatching, hatching, patch hatching, contour hatching, ruler hatching, etc. are the names given for different type of textures. Okay. So let us now take a look at sketching as an activity using pen and ink. What you are seeing is the first sketch of my life. I have preserved it. I still have it with me. Like you must have started sketching whenever, I don't know if you have preserved it. This is memory for me. You can see my signature here below, 18th February 1971. I was 17-year-old. So like you guys, I also started sketching at about 17, 18 years of age. Not because I wanted to study architecture. I was still in school. But just like that, just as a hobby. So this is the first sketch I did using pen and ink. And it took me about 4 hours to do it. I still remember, just like that I did it because I had some friends who used to sketch very well. So I was inspired by them. So I thought that I should try. So I sketched Vivekananda and wrote this Vivekananda statement. So it took about 4 or 5 hours. First I drew with pencil and then used pen, my fountain pen, which I used to use in the school. With that I sketched this. This is the first sketch. You can see it's in a bad shape today, but still it has got a lot of memories attached because this is how I started learning to sketch. But then this activity had to be regular. So over the years, I used to sketch very regularly. So you can imagine 1971 to now this is 2021. How many years? 51 years. So 51 years I've been sketching. Almost all days. Maybe sometimes I skip, but generally, so you can imagine the amount of sketching that has happened in my life and in the life of all designers. Because regular sketching is important to develop your skills. So I'm showing you this idea of using textures using some of my sketches. So here you can see cross hatching is used, vertical, horizontal strokes are used, and very quick drawing. It's a base of a pillar. So you can see how it is drawn. Now here, this is contour lines, to create an effect of uh, the bark of a tree and the branches of a tree. What I'm showing here, I'm calling it travel sketches because all my sketches are based on travels. See, in order to sketch, you have to really go out. You have very limited things in your home. You can sketch objects at home, but in order to really learn to sketch, you have to step out first into your garden, into your street or somewhere. So all designers have this habit of carrying a sketchbook with them all the time. Sketchbook and pen and pencil are always part of a designer's life. So I carry a sketchbook wherever I go, and if I have time, just to pass time, if I have to wait for someone and nothing to do, you sit and sketch. So these are all travel sketches, and which I have preserved. So this was in a place called Bibi Ka Maqbara Garden, that is in Aurangabad. So where I have traveled different parts of the world. So wherever I go, I carry sketchbook and sketch like this. So I'm showing you only pen and ink sketches which I have done. I do a lot different types, pencil, pen and ink, watercolor, and so on. But today we are discussing pen and ink sketch. So I'm showing you pen and ink sketch. So here you can see this random doodling, which is used as a texture. This is inside Ajanta. You have heard of Ajanta Ellora caves. So this is inside cave number 10 Ajanta. All these are done on the spot. When you travel, you go, you sit in some corner and sketch. So this is done inside cave number 10 Ajanta caves. This is on top of a fort in Daulatabad, near Aurangabad in Maharashtra. What you see is a cannon there. So here actually this had to be done very fast because there was no time. I was with a group. So you can maximum get 5 minutes to draw because people are in a hurry. So you quickly draw the sketch, and later what I have done is I have taken ink and put water in ink and used a brush to give this texture, which you see like shadow here. It's very easy. You take little water, add a drop of ink to it, and then use brush and add. So it gives a very interesting texture like this. So that is called wash technique. When you add diluted ink and draw, it is called wash technique. This sketch you see is of a bridge over the river Vai. Vai is a place in Maharashtra. There are some beautiful temples. The Vai is the name of this river actually, and there are a lot of beautiful small temples around this. I had gone on a trip once. So there is a bridge there. People walk, vehicles go on this, but it's a nice little stone bridge. This was drawn with ballpoint pen. This is actually drawn with ballpoint pen. So you can see the textures, the very thin lines you get. If you use ballpoint pen, you get very fine and thin lines. This is also drawn with ballpoint pen. This is that of a sculpture inside one of those temples. It is called Panchamukhi Shiva. Panchamukhi Shiva means 5-headed Shiva. So you can see here 1, 2, 3 headed. 3 heads, 1 head is behind. So 4 heads facing 4 directions, and 1 head is on top. So this is actually a Shivalingam. This is a Shivalingam with very interesting Shivalingam inside the temple, which has got heads actually. Shiva's heads, different heads. 4 heads facing 4 directions and 1 head facing the sky. So it's called Panchamukhi Shiva. People worship this. So I took almost about 2 hours to sketch this because you can see how the texture is. So first draw an outline with pencil and then finish it using ballpoint pen. This is another sketch of the same river bank. So I had some students with me that time, so they were also sitting and sketching, and this is I sketched them from the other side of the river, sitting on the bank. So you can see this is all done with ballpoint pen. Okay, this is done using fountain pen with black ink, and this is in Kandy. Kandy is in Sri Lanka. So I had gone to Sri Lanka once. So this is Buddha Truth Temple. There's a tooth temple. It's called Buddha's Tooth Temple. This was done in 2013. So let's see, the advantage of all this is that when you do a sketch, you put a date there. So you remember when you visited, where you went, and so on. So this is sketching during morning walk. So whenever I travel, I go for a morning walk with a sketchbook and spend time sketching here and there. So this was in Sri Lanka. Every day from the hotel, I used to go for morning walk and sketch like this. This is somebody's house. I like this house. So I sat on the roadside and sketched. See, if you do all this, nobody really objects to this. In fact, if you sit and sketch in some corner, people will come and crowd around you because sketching is a skill which not many people have. So when they see somebody sitting and sketching, there is a lot of curiosity and people will come and crowd around you and talk to you and they will appreciate what you are doing. So that way, sketching is a very good activity which connects you with a lot of people also. So this is morning walk sketch. This is another morning walk sketch in Kandy in Sri Lanka. These are all household entries to different houses, which I found very interesting. This was the entry to the hotel when I came back to the hotel where I was staying. This is entry to the hotel. And these are some other places in Sri Lanka in the botanical garden, or shelter in the botanical garden. So all these are all are pen and ink sketches done. And I don't know if you have heard about Hanuman footprint is there in Ashokavana in Sri Lanka. There is a place called Ashokavana. So there is a rock there which has got holes like this, and you can see water inside these rocks. So these holes look like footprint. So they call it that Hanuman. So Hanuman actually, when he came to Sri Lanka, when he jumped and came to Sri Lanka, he apparently came and landed here. So, I mean, it's a legend that Hanuman landed here. So his footprint created this kind of shape in the rock. So this is a sketch of that. This is a sculpture, very interesting. Product design students would like this because this is actually a sculpture, huge sculpture. If I can stand under this, it's as big as that. It's a huge sculpture of a hand holding a telephone. This is Sri Lanka Telecom Department has created a garden sculpture, which looks like a hand holding a telephone. This travel sketch is done in Tibet. I had gone to Tibet and Himalayas once for a trek. So this is on the way to Mansarovar Lake, some of the Tibetan houses. Now, because I am an architect, I get interested in architecture of different places. So most of my sketches, you will find buildings. So this is a typical Tibetan house and the gate to the house. So these are all different kind of, this is called a gumfa. Gumfa is a small shrine which the Tibetans create, and they hang flags like this across the shrine. So this is called gumfa. This is the Mount Kailasa. I had gone to Mount Kailasa on a trek. It's at a very high altitude. It's called Shiva's Abode. So this was sketched at about, temperature was about, I think, minus 10 degree or something. So it was quite difficult sketching this because my hands were inside the gloves and holding the pen was quite tough. But then I wanted to sketch it because you can take a photograph, all right, but the sheer thrill of sitting there in the sub-zero temperature and sketching was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. So all my friends were looking at me, what is wrong with this guy sitting and sketching in this time? But I sat there and it took me about 10 minutes to sketch this very quickly. And that's it. So, okay, this is a sketch done in Varkala. So what you are seeing is different types of techniques. Now here you see just quick line drawing. This had to be done very quickly because this lady would get up anytime and go for a swim. I saw that this lady was sitting there just thinking to go for a swim. So I very quickly had to sketch this. So, more than photography, there is a great thrill in sketching because what you see will not last. Photography happens only in a split second. You click and the picture is over. But sketching takes time and what you see may keep moving. So it becomes a little difficult. So when you go outdoors and sketch, when you travel and sketch, it increases your speed of sketching. So that is the importance of travel sketching, because you have to quickly understand what is going on and quickly sketch. So this is again in Varkala beach. This is my chappal in the sand. So anything can be sketched, any object can be sketched. This is a lantern which was there on the table in the hotel where I stayed, and so on. This is Kovalam beach. Some house. In fact, walk towards the. Yeah, it is actually the lighthouse on the Kovalam beach. This is the Vizhinjam lighthouse, a pathway to the Vizhinjam lighthouse actually in Kovalam beach. So these are all quickly done sketches, not more than 5-10 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. This is again Kovalam beach, fishermen with their boats. This is a Shiva temple on the beach road. So these are all done using this pen, this fountain pen, not even drawing pen, but fountain pen. Fountain pen has one advantage because if you hold it the normal way, you get one thickness, but if you turn it in different directions, you can get different thickness. So Now, how to do travel sketch? I'm just showing you the method of doing travel sketch when you travel. So for example, now I was having a cup of tea on the way to Kovalam. So we stopped at this chai wala shop. He was damn thrilled because when I took out my sketchbook, he said, Enda Sare. So I said, I want to sketch you this. So he was very happy. He gave me another cup of tea. So this is the guy there, and this is the sketch I did him making tea. So very quickly while he was making tea, tea making is a dynamic process. He won't wait for you. So you have to very quickly sketch the whole activity like that. So this is another event. This was inside Padmanabhapuram Palace, where I had taken a group of students and gone. The students were also sketching. So this was actually a sketching trip, which we sometimes have as travel. A lot of students accompany, and then all the students also sketch. So this was the Padmanabhapuram Palace, the garden in the. So another important thing that you should do, and it is easily possible now, is when you sketch something, take a picture of the sketch along with the object. So this is the palace garden. This was the object, the pillar, and this is what I did as a sketch. So you have the object here as a sketch, the object here before you, and you take a sketch of the picture of the object as well as the sketch. So this is inside the Padmanabhapuram Palace, one of the rooms. So you sit somewhere and sketch this. I had sketched this doorway, and this is a doorway sketch, and this is the space. So you develop this technique of sketching and taking it's not your selfie, but the selfie of the drawing that you have done along with the subject. So this is another passage in the palace, just from one end to the other end as you walk. Okay, well, I'm now going to show you students' work, how students also sit in. So this is what you should be doing whenever you travel. It doesn't matter where you are, what you are sketching. What matters is that you find some 10-15 minutes of peace for yourself, sit in one corner, take out your sketchbook, and happily do some sketching, because it gives you tremendous satisfaction when you complete the sketch, that you have achieved something. If you do one sketch every day like this, it will not only develop your skill, but you will also get immense satisfaction doing all this. So this is the students' working, which I had sketched, another student's work. This is all inside the Padmanabhapuram Palace. And it takes time to do pen and ink sketches because you have to do it in detail. So you have to spend time in one spot and do the detailing, and you get up only when you are satisfied. And finally, when you end it all, if you are in a group, we all stand like this, holding the picture that you have sketched, and then take a group selfie. So all the students and all the other friends and architects, whoever is accompanying. In fact, the idea is that everybody has to sketch. Those who don't sketch are not allowed to be in the picture. So only those who have sketched will have to stand and so this was a palace, so where we did the sketching. So this is a selfie with the palace in the background. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some techniques. This technique is how to add color to pen and ink sketch. Now, because pen and ink sketch is a unique thing. So on the left, you can see the pen and ink sketch. How to understand how to add color. So the method is very simple. What you do is, pen and ink sketch are permanent in nature. They are dark. After you finish them, you come back home or whenever, take photocopies. So on the right is a photocopy of it, Xerox copies. Take 2-3 Xerox copies, and on the Xerox copies, you apply color. So this is the original, and this is actually a photocopy in which I have added color pencil. So if you remember that, so I remember what the color was of this particular place. This is actually sketches which I have done when I went to Uzbekistan. You have heard of Uzbekistan. So in Uzbekistan, there are wonderful minarets and mosques. So this is a minaret and a mosque. So this is sketch of that. So this is the color part. So this is another minaret in Uzbekistan. So this is in Samarkand. Now this area where Kabul is in news. So this is closer to Kabul. Samarkand is in Uzbekistan, north of Afghanistan, those areas. So this is the pen and ink sketch, and this is the colored sketch. converted into color using pencil colors. So this is also, so now you are trying two techniques. You do pen and ink sketch. You don't spoil that pen and ink sketch, keep it like that, but take photocopy, or you can scan and print. If you have scanner in your house, you can scan it and take a printout. And on the printout, experiment with colors. You can do pencil, you can do crayons, you can do watercolor on those. So one sketch you draw and make 5 to 6 copies and experiment your skill development on those using different mediums. So these are all sketches done in Uzbekistan. These were the, once upon a time, rulers, the ruler and his guru, Ali Sher Nawai and Abdul Rahman Jami. He was, one is the guru, the other is the ruler of Uzbekistan. So their statue. And there is a place in Tashkent called Lal Bahadur Shastri Square. I don't know if you know your history of India. Lal Bahadur Shastri was Prime Minister after Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He actually died in Tashkent. He had, after the Indo-Pakistan war, he had gone for a peace treaty in Tashkent, and he signed the peace treaty with Pakistan, and then he died. So the place, in his memory, I mean, it is very rare for a prime minister of one country to have a memorial in another country. So Shastri was our prime minister, but Tashkent and Uzbekistan people were actually very sad that he died there. So they made a memorial in his name. So we did some sketching on the spot there. This had happened in 1966. So now I'm going to show you something which is actually related to skill development, but not necessarily part of designer's world. It is meant for artists. Now, I have seen many of you like to do portraits. It is good to do portraits because it helps you develop two things. One is it helps you develop skills of using different medium. The other is if you keep doing portrait, you will become very realistic in looking at things, because in portraits you cannot lie in a portrait. You have to be as true as possible to the object that you are sketching. So if you do a lot of portraits, you develop your skill of observation and reproduction. So this is combining two mediums. You have been doing pencil. Here I have combined two mediums, pencil as well as ink is used. Ink is used to bring a lot of focus and dynamism in the sketch, ink outlines. So this is, I don't know if you can recognize, anybody who can recognize this person? Anyone? You can unmute yourself.
Shobana, sir.
Pardon?
Yeah, Shobana.
Not Shobana, you are close, not the Shobana that you think. This is Shabana. Shabana Azmi, the Hindi actress. Okay. So now you try to recognize the faces. Who is this? This is also part of general knowledge. Come on, you should know all this. Who is this?
Yeshudas.
Okay, so if you don't know this, then I am a failure. If you know this, good for you. So that's right, this is Yeshudas. If you cannot recognize, then that means I am not good at sketching or sketching portraits. Okay, fine, that's good. This is Yeshudas. Who's this?
Indira Gandhi.
Okay, good. So you know that. So if you can recognize, that means I am also successful. And if you can recognize means you have got good general knowledge. Who's this?
Mother Teresa.
Yes, Mother Teresa. Why you took so long to recognize? Very easily recognizable because of her headgear. You know, it's very, very popular headgear. Who's this? Who is this?
Modi, Narendra Modi.
Okay, so why you?
So it's lagging. That's right.
It's lagging. Okay.
Yeah.
It took time for you to see it. Okay.
Awesome.
So.
Sachin Tendulkar.
Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, wonderful. So finally, this is Vivekananda. Okay, I started with Vivekananda and I am ending with Vivekananda. This is a recent sketch. Recent means, so I had done once in 1971. This was done in 2016. So you can see that when I compare, I can see my own growth as a person who sketches, pen and ink. This is also pen and ink. That was also pen and ink. So you see, why I'm showing you all this is that you cannot stop sketching and drawing if you have decided to become a designer, because you will develop your skills, and over a period of time you will grow. More important is that you will become very quick at doing things. You will not take much time to do this. So speed is very important. That is one reason why you should regularly sketch. So let me see if any of you have asked any question. So do you apply perspective drawing procedures while doing these sketches live? Wonderful question. This is asked by Amin, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mohammad Amin. So yeah, it's a very, very good. He's asking whether you have applied perspective drawing techniques. You know, initially I used to apply when I learned sketching. Because you look at whatever is before you, so you put a vanishing point, put a horizon line, and then start working. But what will happen with you over the period of time, in 2-3 years, I didn't have to do it. First 2-3 years, I had to really do that, put a vanishing point and then draw. But what happens is when you do this regular basis, then you don't have to do it. So much of what you have seen, I have never used vanishing point, or because it comes automatically. No, it is like driving or bicycle. You know, once how difficult it is to learn cycling. All of you must be knowing cycling. You know how difficult it was when you did not know cycling, to get onto the cycle, get the balance. But once you have learned, do you think twice before getting onto a cycle? Or once you know driving, it's difficult to learn to drive, right? You get onto a motorcycle, you fall once or twice. You learn to drive a car. Initially, it is very difficult to clutch, gear, and all that. You get confused, and after some time. But what happens after a couple of years? You know, you just can do it blindfold. You get into the car without even you are knowing. You start the car, take the car out, and go on the road. So that is called developing the second nature. It is called developing the second nature. So person who drives well says that driving is second nature to me. It's part of your nature. So similarly, sketching has to become a second nature for you. So these theories will vanish if you practice regularly. As Amin has asked, do you do this perspective drawing procedure? It's not required. Maybe for few times you will use it, but then after some time you'll find that you don't need it because it will automatically happen. It will become your second nature. So try to make sketching, drawing skills as your second nature. It has to be, and including handwriting. That's also very important. Writing neatly in all capitals, uniform lettering, same height is very important when you write. Please do not do random handwriting on your paper. I have also asked you to make proper templates, write your name properly. So that is also important. Writing very legibly, neatly, and sketching and texturing, etc. very legibly and neatly. Okay. So if that is okay, we will conclude for the day.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.